Hey, everybody. We are doing our regular Sunday evening live with Whitney. So we want to answer all of your questions as you join. But until you join and start asking questions, I've got a question for Whitney, which
Okay.
is I had the same complaint in our marriage that a lot of guys have, which is that I felt very unappreciated and not respected as a man in the relationship for many years. And I've talked about that quite a bit, but what changed for you to switch that dynamic? And guys, as we're talking here, ask your questions and I'll keep track of them here and we'll get to them.
Um, what changed so when I started giving you lots of appreciation and respect?
Yeah, what changed for you in the relationship that made you naturally respectful, appreciative, etc.? Because that's something a lot of guys
Well,
struggle with.
you started showing up in really different ways. Like you started following through with your word. What?
No, I'm just keeping track of questions.
Oh, okay. You started following through. So everything you said, you did. I didn't feel like I had to kind of chase you around or mother you. I think in the past, our relationship was, it felt at least like I was, like you were a little boy and I was your mom. And I was trying to, I was constantly like having to tell you like what to do and to keep track of everything. And it was just like, it was like you weren't being a full grown adult for a long time. And so, and I felt like I had to carry the responsibilities for both of us in that regard in a lot of ways. And so, it was, I guess it was hard to have respect for somebody, even though I did respect you, but I mean, like really outwardly
Act with respect.
I think I feel like, should always act with respect, but it was harder for me to feel respect for you when I wasn't, when I didn't see you, showing up in like some of like the more basic ways, like it was like you couldn't, put a dish away or pick anything up off the floor or like
Okay, but
whatever.
but I still don't.
No, you do those things.
I'm not exactly Mr. Clean.
I'm not saying that you have to be Mr. Clean, but you're way more responsible for yourself. Like, I don't feel like I have to chase you all over the house and like, ask you to do things. Like you take care of yourself in a way that you just didn't before. You act more independent, more manly, more masculine. You act more
like I put you in the position of mother less.
Yeah, you don't put me in the position of mother at all anymore. So you're nothing. You don't act in any ways like you used to. What answer are you hoping for?
I guess just something that would like give the guys an idea of like why their wife might be.
Well, that's probably why.
Okay.
Like if she has to feel like she has to take responsibility, like you aren't leading, you aren't taking charge, you aren't taking ownership of the things that you really should be, and she has to mother you all the time, then she's gonna start treating you like she's your mom. She's gonna start treating, not that like anyone deserves a lack of respect. Like we should give each other respect, including children. But I think there's a pain in having to look at your husband as a child. Like it causes women to pain.
So what can a guy do to like shift that dynamic?
Start acting like a grown up.
I know, but guys are going to take that like, okay, I'm going to do more dishes, and then they're not going to get any respect.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like take ownership of the things that you are responsible for. Follow through with whatever it is that you're saying you're going to do. Just like if you say you're gonna take the trash out tomorrow, just do it. Don't put her in a position where she has to chase you down to take out the garbage. It's little things like this that add up, that make a woman feel like she can trust you and trust you to follow through. And when a woman can trust you and trust that you're going to follow through, she'll have a great amount of respect for you because you're showing up and you're being the man that she needs you to be in different situations. But I mean, every situation is going to be a little bit unique. It's going to be a little bit different. And the same is true for a woman. Like if the woman isn't showing up, if she's like, I'm not saying this is what men do, but I'm just saying if, your wife is like laying on the couch all day long and not doing anything and not tending to the children and not taking care of the home, like you're going to lose respect for her. You're going to be like, What the heck? I don't have a partner.
Especially men, because like part of what makes us, like Chris Rock says, like women, children, and dogs are loved unconditionally. Like part of what makes men loved and worthwhile in a lot of ways as being useful. And there is, whether you admit it or not, there's like, if you look at a man as useless, even if he's not in lots of different domains, if you look at him as useless, like at home, there is going to be that loss of respect that happens for
Well,
sure.
I think for a woman too, though, like if you look at your wife,
Yeah, of
your
course.
wife, and you don't, and she's not
Of course.
showing up or she's not taking her part seriously, like you're also going to feel that way. So it's not, but you asked specifically, like, what was it about you? Like you started taking ownership and leadership and just like, you didn't just do more tasks. You did the things you said you were going to do.
Yeah.
You followed.
So basically,
through.
like being proactive, like rather than waiting for a list from you or waiting for you to do something, then you got to chase me down, like find that thing and go do that thing.
Who's the leader here? Like, am I the leader? Because I don't know about most women, but I know. Well, I do know. I think about most women, but I know for certainly for myself, I don't want to be the captain of our ship at home. I don't want to be the leader.
Okay, cool. Kevin, I have a question for you both. When are you coming back to Florida? Kevin's an amazing black belt that we've trained with in the past. I think December.
We're gonna be there December. Yeah, December. I won't tell you the dates just yet because we don't. No.
We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
But December, so we'll get some training in. And I think I have to finally admit that gi is not my future because no one does gi anymore. So
they're doing gi.
I'm going to start doing some no gi. All right, I'm going to scroll through here to find some more questions. Anybody have a question for us? Okay, I've been keeping my word, and she's still disrespectful. Okay, keeping your word. My guess would be, and again, like these are guesses, right? Because we're talking like what are the most common answers? I know you look very big. What are the most common answers, right? Without knowing your specific situation. So my guess would be there's some element of she can sense, and again, I'm guessing here, right? So I could be wrong, but she can sense that you're doing the things that you're supposed to do because you want something from her, because you want a reaction, rather than, hey, this is my house, this is my kingdom. I'm going to stay on top of the things that need to be stayed on top of. I'm going to make sure my wife's on top of her stuff, the kids are on top of their stuff, I'm on top of my stuff. But if she senses that you're like trying to guess what she wants you to do, and then you're going to do that because you're trying to please her, that mother-child dynamic is still going to be there to some level. But if she senses that you're keeping your word because you're a man of integrity, that you're doing things, whatever, around the house or elsewhere because you want them to get done and you believe it's important for these things to get done and they're important to you, so you want to get them done.
We talked about this last week too, where it's like, if you are visibly irritated or annoyed, or it looks like it's obvious to her that you're doing it just because you want that approval or you want recognition or you want respect, you're not going to get it in the same way. It's like, I used the example last week of, it's like, when you go to be intimate with your wife and physically she's there, physically she's available, but you can just tell emotionally and mentally she has zero interest in doing the act with you. Like, you're not going to be satisfied in the same way. You want her to be into it, to be doing it because she also wants to be there. While you might be able to get that like physical release, there's going to be a massive part of it that's missing for you. And it's the same thing if you're keeping your word and doing things because you just like you're begrudgingly and resentfully, and I'm not assuming that you are, I'm just saying this to everybody who's listening because this is a good way to answer the question, is if you are begrudgingly or resentfully doing the thing, she's not going to get out of what she wants, because the whole reason why keeping your word or following through is important to her is because it creates safety, it creates emotional safety for her. But if you're doing it out of resentment, that's not coming from a place of safety. That's coming from a place of resentment. It's the opposite.
Yeah. And again, no idea about your situation, just the common things that we see.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it because you're hoping for approval or that you're hoping she notices, and you do the dishes, you're waiting for her to notice or whatever, she's sensing that she's still in that position of like being in charge and you're looking for her approval. And again, even we see this all the time, like women who kind of castrate their husbands and, carry their balls around in a purse. Even if they force that situation and they don't let him step up and they punish him when he does, they still resent him for not stepping up. They still punish him for not being the leader. So, my experience, tell me if you agree with this, is you would rather I do the things that I think are important if that's what I think is important, rather than doing the things that you think are important just because they're on your list. Like, you'd rather, even if I'm not doing the things you want me to do, you're like, okay, at least Matt's like being proactive and he's got his shit
Well,
locked
and you
down.
tell me often too, you're like, hey, like that's gonna wait because this is more important, or I have to get this done, or yep, I'm like, or I'd be happy to, or no, I can't because and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like Matt's got his own list going, his own list of priorities that he's running, that he's taking care of, that I'm not necessarily even aware of. Oh shoot, like you just okay, yeah, I get it. Go do that, right? So it's it makes us feel more like a team. It's like, oh, you're handling this whole other thing that I didn't know about. So communicating what you're taking care of as well, and like what you're doing is important, because oftentimes like we don't know, as a couple, as a married couple, we're so busy taking care of what it is we have to take care of. We're doing it separately and independently. We're not even always aware of what the burdens our partner is carrying for the sake of our family or for anything. So communicating that,
And communicating that, like,
not in a grumpy way.
yeah, but that I'm not ignoring your needs because you're not a priority. It's because I've got these things that have to get done. So like, hey, look, whatever you want me to, whatever, I don't know, organize the shoes by the front door.
Sure.
And it's like, hey, love to, I've got to do this thing for work and this other thing, but if you really want me to do that, like, I'll get around to it tonight or tomorrow morning.
And then sometimes I'll say, oh, you know what? Actually, don't worry about it. Like, you've got too many things going on right now. I'll just do it. Or I'll be like, yeah, babe, thank you. That would be really helpful because right now I'm really stressed out, and that'd be really helpful.
And going back to the first question, like, that's a big change in our dynamic is if you say, hey, Matt, if I say I'm going to do it later, I actually mean I'm going to do it later. I don't mean that, like, I'm going to forget about it. So,
and it seems like a trivial thing to like say, but it's like, if I can't trust you to pick up the shoes that you told me you were going to do, it just leaks into other parts of our relationship. And then I'm like, oh, well, what can I trust you for? Yeah. So
I don't really, this question looks like you maybe deleted some of your question, but I'll do my best. Some of the problem is also that most women don't know how to read their man, don't understand the next sentence. He's stressed out. Most men hold that stuff inside. Yeah, that's a big problem. And again, like, we work with men, right? So most of this advice is like to men. But yeah, it's a huge issue that in a lot of marriages, women don't care if their guy is stressed out. They don't. But again, the way I look at everything is take radical ownership, right? So if she doesn't know that you're stressed out, she doesn't know how to read you, tell her. Right. And like, I was really bad at this because I was a people pleaser. And so I had all these covert contracts like, hey, if I'm this way, you're supposed to notice this, that I'm this way. And then you're supposed to do this in response. And Whitney just wouldn't even know.
I had no idea.
And we're very good at, like, even if I think it's obvious that I'm stressed out, you guys might have no idea.
Well, I can read you now very, very well.
After I told you 100 times.
In the past, yeah, but even now, like, even when things aren't related to what you've told me, I read you very well and I co-regulate with you often.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, Matt's got something going on. He's stressed out right now. I need to be easier on him today. I need to be gentle with my words. I need to be encouraging. I can tell. But that being said, there was something. Oh, but before, you were so good at hiding what you were really feeling. You had like serious anxiety. I didn't even know you were an anxious person.
Yeah.
If someone asked me, is Matt anxious? I would have been like, what? No, Matt's like the most confident, easygoing person ever. I had no idea. Nobody knew you were anxious.
No.
Because you were so good at like hiding. And I think that a lot of men are so good at hiding what they're really feeling because you aren't encouraged from a young age to express your emotions and to cry, or you're told to like man up, go be brave. Like that, it's almost embarrassing to share your emotions. So I would say, I'm on your side here in the sense that, like, I do think that women need to do a better job of helping co-regulate their partners, but it's really difficult for us as well because, like, you men don't show or share your emotions in the same way.
We're really good at hiding it. Yeah. Yeah. So I would say, because with us now, if I'm stressed out, or even if I'm like down or overwhelmed or whatever, I'll just tell Whitney, right? But I state what I'm feeling. I don't like make a big display of my emotions. Like, oh, it's too much. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I stay in control. I'm like, hey babe, I'm like stressed out right now. I'm having a really hard time. I need a little bit extra from you. But I couldn't have done that earlier in our relationship. And it's important for guys to know that just like in the bedroom, like, she has to come first, right? So if you're trying to change this dynamic in your relationship, she's not going to read you and figure out where you're at emotionally until she feels like she will get all of that from you as well. So I had to get good at reading you and making you feel safe and making you feel like I had space for your emotions for quite a long time before you started doing the same thing back to me. And part of that was me learning how to say, hey, I'm stressed, because I just thought you should notice. And maybe this is like a boy with your mom thing, right? Where it's like, hey, mom always knew when I was stressed. Like, you should know too. And you just really wouldn't know. And I always interpreted it as she doesn't care. She doesn't get it. But I started being a lot more vocal. Like, hey, wait, here's all this stuff I'm dealing with at work. Here's the burdens I'm carrying. But again, I wasn't spilling my guts, collapsing on the floor, crying. I was like, just letting you know from a place of control. Like, hey, I've got this going on. Like, my capacity is not very good right now. Like, I'm going to need you to step up more with the kids. If the kids are like really going crazy, I want to be the one who like disciplines them and keeps them in line. But like today, I'm going to step out and this is on you. But
it's really helpful.
The only way but I think the only reason I put myself in a position where that worked is because you knew I was there for you. You had a full cup already. Because if you were running on empty and felt completely unsupported by me all the time, and then I did that, I would have got nothing from you.
It would have felt, I would have felt alone, because I would have felt like, oh my goodness, I'm already doing all of this and I already feel like unsupported, and now you're telling me you want more from me. Like, it would have felt it would have felt lonely, I would say. It would have felt like I didn't have a teammate, really.
Yeah, and men, we have like 20 times the testosterone that women do, right? So we can pour from an empty cup. Like, if you gotta, whatever, using evolutionary analogy, like if you gotta go kill a deer and bring it back to the cave for your family, doesn't really matter if your ankle's hurting.
But women do pour from empty cups to their children.
To their children, not to their husbands.
For their children.
Yeah.
Yes, it's true.
And so, like, it's a very nice idea to say, hey, if both of you are stressed out of your minds, she's going to come there and help you out. She's not, right? And, unless you've got a lot of years of filling her cup up already, and she's already in a big surplus. My experience, again, with you and with, 1,000 other men with, normal, good, healthy wives, but they're at a bad place in the relationship, they're not getting anything from her until her cup is filled. But the good thing about women is, like, yeah, they're not going to pour out of an empty cup, but the average woman, if you fill her cup, she will immediately begin pouring into your cup. Like, she doesn't have to go get a coach, and she doesn't have to read a relationship book. Like, she'll want to immediately start taking care of you. But again, my experience is it happens in this order. She gets what she wants and she feels emotionally fulfilled. From that place of emotional fulfillment, she can then take care of you. But if you're not creating this container where she feels good and where she feels fulfilled, it's probably not going to happen.
Women will pour into their husbands with an empty cup to a degree for a period of time, and then they'll stop.
And they'll feel like they're doing that, but like if you've got a woman who's felt emotionally unsafe, not supported, not fended for, not protected from family, from financial stress, from whatever it is, if she feels unprotected by you, and then you want something from her in terms of emotional protection or something like that, like you're just not going to get it. I think those relationships are really rare.
Yeah, well, and they have a time limit. I think not the relationship per se necessarily, but there's a limit as to how long it can be so unbalanced. I think
women will shut down.
Yeah, and I think that I think men can too. I mean, maybe like
I don't think so. I mean, men can, yeah, obviously you're right. But I mean, men can go 20 years in an unfulfilling relationship and still do their duty almost the same as if they were getting if they're getting everything they need in the relationship. Like men are so bound by their sense of honor and duty, and women are much more so going to act from how they're feeling. And if she's feeling really disconnected and really unsupported, she's not going to be that supportive of you. It's just reality.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. So,
True.
Shorter answer, state what you're feeling explicitly and like walk her through it. Don't assume that she knows you're stressed out. Again, don't make a big display of your emotions. Just calmly tell her, hey, here's where I'm at. But if you really want a supportive wife, make her feel really supported for honestly a few months. Like a lot of the clients I work with, it takes 6 months of them acting supportive.
Why do you explain what it means make her feel supported? Because that
so,
might sound too ambiguous.
Yeah, that's a great point, because a lot of guys are like, okay, look, I pay the bills, I keep her safe, we got a house, we have a nice car, I work hard, I spend time with the kids, but that's kind of the male view of support. And I agree with it and I get it, but it's not enough for your wife. And maybe it'd be nice if that was different. It's not. So what you have to understand about women is support is an emotional thing. Like one of the ways you can make her feel supported is like letting her be emotional sometimes. Like if it's that time of the month and the world is ending according to her, it's like just sit there and smile at her with love in your eyes and love her unconditionally while she's losing her mind about how somebody left a sock on the floor. Like let her do that. And then she goes, wow, like I could be emotionally messy in front of this guy. And he was not afraid. He was not angry. He was just there still loving with me during that time. Taking her side in arguments, even if it's like something dumb she's talking about from work and you're like, you know, you want to tell her, well, why didn't you just send the email on time? You can instead be like, hey, yeah, that's really bad. That's really sad that Susie treated you that way. You can tell her tomorrow that she should have sent the email on time. In that moment, just be like, hey, yeah, I'm really sorry your coworkers are treating you that way.
So
You're
support
amazing.
is just making her feel like she's seen, like she has a friend,
Yeah.
like she has someone who's on her side.
Yeah. And fending for her, right? Like whatever. She's got a, you know, there's like her she mentions, hey, I forgot to change my oil. Go change the oil for her. She mentions like the lock on the front door isn't working. Make sure you get that lock fixed, right? Like the standard man stuff where don't make her ask you 50 times. Don't make her, you know, go way out of her way. Like notice what she needs and provide that for her. And if you do that long enough, she's going to be so grateful and so safe in the relationship that she's going to return that to you. Mm-hmm. The one thing about women, again, like in my view, they don't pour from an empty cup, but if their cup is full, they're going to give you everything you need. Their cup just has to be full. Women are, when it comes to them talking to the friends, than a man opening up and showing feelings. I am not sure what that means. Women are, when it comes to them talking to the friends, than a man opening up and showing feelings. I don't know. Sorry, man. If you ask it again, I'll try my best to answer it. The woman should follow through, though, too. Both. Yeah, of course she should. Mm-hmm. I just think a lot of the time, because we work with guys whose relationships are already in a bad place, a lot of the time she's just not going to. Again, because men are we're directed by our beliefs, our principles, our code of honor, right? No matter how we're feeling, we're going to try to do what's right. We're not always good at doing that, but that's our intent as men is like, hey, we know what's right and we're going to try to do that thing. We'll fail, but that's what we're trying to do. Women aren't always trying to do what they think is right. Like they feel their way through the world much more so. So if she's feeling really disconnected, you're not going to get connected action.
Might be what's right to her though. Like, do you know what I mean? You gotta.
Yeah, but
because she feels like it's right. She feels like it's right. She feels right about it.
So rather than like a set of ideas that she follows based on what's right, it's what she feels is right.
Right.
And what she feels is right is going to change. And what she feels is right in a relationship with the man that she's disconnected from is not going to be all the things you want her to do. What she feels is right with the man that she's very connected to, that she feels very safe with, that's going to be all the stuff that you want. Mm-hmm. So you have to change how she's feeling in the relationship, and then she'll have follow through. But it's very, these women are worth their weight in gold, but it's very rare to find a woman who's in a really disconnected or unsafe relationship. And again, unsafe, not because you're beating her, just unsafe emotionally, who's still going to be a very dutiful wife at a really high level. They're just very, very rare. So if you find that unicorn, wonderful, probably never need to work with me. But if you are like 90-something% of men, she's going to follow through largely based on your ability to follow through and your ability to make her feel emotionally safe. And if she sees you consistently always following through and you always make her emotionally safe, she's going to follow through as well.
It just depends. Like, where do you want to be in the relationship? Do you want to be the leader or the follower? Do you want to be the captain or the crew? I mean, we talk in these terms. These are very traditional terms and they're not at all like politically correct. But if you lead by example. If you want your wife to show up for you in a certain way, I mean, lead the home in that direction. Be the thing you want. Be the person you want to see in her. I give this same exact advice to women who are trying to heal their relationships in more in the context of influence rather than leading, because the women I work with don't want to lead their husbands, but they are on board with influencing him in a positive way by having good behavior, by being gentle, by being considerate, by being understanding and patient and questioning their own motives and taking accountability. I encourage them to do all those things and then gently influence their husband in the right direction. But from the man's perspective, we want him we believe that it's best for him, if he wants to be the captain, he wants to be the king of his kingdom, like, you have to lead. It all starts with you. Matt lives a life full of integrity, follow through. He has boundaries. He has really strong morals, and he leads our family in that direction. And then we all kind of take part in his vision for our family, and it works really well. Everyone's, it's quite a good cohesive unit that we have, but it all starts with him. But you put yourself in that position because that's where you want to be. You're choosing to be in that position.
Yeah. And when I was not in that position, which was the first like 7-8 years of our marriage, I also didn't start taking accountability and having follow through and being worthy of your trust for a month. And I was like, hey, you do the same thing. Like, I just started doing that. And I don't know exactly how long it was. It kind of, you kind of started
like it was
shifting.
like a year or something of you just like being.
It was a long time.
Being
Yeah.
this version of yourself that like was that I knew, maybe I kind of knew was there. I couldn't have fully known, but I knew like a little bit was there. And then you just stepped up and you stepped into this man that was like, wow, like he's so impressive. And he's so elevated, and you're just like climbing this mountain. You're just cleaning your body, your soul, your mind. You're just, I don't know, you elevated. I watched you elevate, and then I was like, well, I want to be there. I want to be up there with him. Like, I don't want to be down here, like stuck in my own garbage, and like not taking accountability. And hey, and then I kind of started realizing too, like, I have to work to earn your trust, and I have to earn I have to work to earn, like, I don't know, like earn my place next to you. It was like this kind of interesting shift that happened, but it wasn't like you were better than me. It was just that you were doing better than me. Yeah. And I loved watching that, and I wanted to be there with you.
You want to be a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then and that's how like I became, a much more considerate and loving and respectful and appreciative wife. It's like I watched you become, you led me there, really. And then I stepped into my own, but you led me there. And this is what I try to make so clear to men, is like, you have so much more power than you realize, even though you feel so powerless and you feel like there's no hope and you're kind of like terrified of your wife and you're like walking on eggshells and all these things. Like, you have all the power. You can take your family in this really incredible direction. And you might be listening to this laughing, oh, well, you don't know my wife, or you don't know my situation.
Okay. Yeah. So
it's like, well,
when I talk about accountability with my clients, we have a big group coaching program. And, one of the things I hear most commonly is somebody will ask a question like, yeah, I hear what you're saying and it makes sense, but you don't know my wife. My wife has never apologized. And like, yeah. And then like, just wait a few months from now, comes back, or a few weeks. It's like, she apologized to me. And this is the thing, like, if you show up in a certain way, things will change in response. And I'm going to continue answering that question, but I'm also going to answer this at the same time because they're similar. So this guy says, our marriage is the opposite. And my wife says she feels like I'm treating her like a child. I asked her to take responsibility for actions. She said she needs to do it at her own time. So women hate pressure. Men grow through pressure. Women grow through nurture. So the best way to get your wife to do something is to encourage her when she does it and tell her she's amazing at it. Like, if you want a dude to lose weight, call him a fat ass and make fun of him. If you want a woman to lose weight, tell her how beautiful she looks in yoga pants. Right? Like, it's a very different process. And
or how hot she is at the gym, or like how.
Yeah, or she's super hot when she's sweaty.
Yeah.
Like, make her feel like that identity, that activity of going to the gym is going to make her feel good better. That doing the dishes is going to make her feel good. If you're just trying to encourage her to take responsibility and like, hey, you got to show up, you got to do more of this, that's going to be pressure. She doesn't like how it feels, and she's going to distance herself from the source of pressure. Again, it would be nice if there was a different reality and you could just say these things. She's like, yeah, good point. And there does come a point in a relationship where that happens. But like Whitney was saying, you have to go there first. And if she sees you there and she sees this guy is like, man, he's taking care of everything. He's a man of his word. He's working hard. He's responsible. He's takes this extreme ownership. He's never telling me anything. He just like leads himself. You set that pace for 6 months in your house, she will begin to match it. If you tell her to match you, you're going to be telling her for the next 20 years. It's almost like you're the king of your kingdom, right? And your behavior tells everybody in your kingdom what the rules are, right? So I could tell my kids and Whitney, never to lie, and they see me lying all the time. My kids are going to lie, right? Probably Whitney's going to lie too. But if they see me being radically honest and holding myself to a really high standard with my word, they learn no matter what dad says, the rules of this kingdom are we keep our word. And if when it comes to responsibility, she sees you following through at an extremely high level for a long enough time. And again, some women it's 2 weeks, some women it's 2 years, who knows? But she sees you at that level for a high enough time. She's going to go, oh, these are the new rules of this kingdom. This kingdom makes me feel safe, makes me feel loved, seen, special, supported. I'm getting everything I need. Well, I want to play by the rules in this kingdom.
I want to be
contribute
in this
to
kingdom.
Yeah.
I want to be a part of this kingdom.
It's good inside of these walls. I want to stay here. So yeah, back off. My advice to you would be back off on the pressure and just outperform your own expectations for her. So if you expect her, making up an example, you expect her to like, whatever, take her dirty stuff out of the car when she parks her car, do that for her for 2 months. And then when she sees your car, make sure it's spotless every single time. If she sees that, she's going to start cleaning the car without you saying anything. 99% chance that's what's going to happen. But if you're constantly telling her, it's not necessarily going to get her there. Now, if you outperform for a really long time, you guys are super solid and connected, you have this incredible relationship. At that point, you can then go, hey, this is what I need from you. And she's likely to be like, yeah, okay, fair. But you can't get her there by telling her to get there. Again, there are exceptions to this, but by and large, that's my experience.
It'll like hurt her feelings, and then won't be able to.
Yeah, because she interprets it as, oh, this means I'm not good enough, which means he's not going to protect me because he doesn't love me, which means I'm alone with a saber-toothed tiger outside of my cave.
And they don't take the hurt as like, oh, okay, this is something I need to change, like men do. They're like, you hurt my feelings. They'll completely ignore the reasoning behind it, and they'll just start thinking you're a monster.
Yeah.
So it's like there's no benefit in that situation, you know.
Even, he doesn't love me. He doesn't think I'm good enough. That's what they think every time.
And then it's just walls and whatever. Whereas if you do it through nurture,
and you're still like that.
Oh yeah. I'm very
but the
sensitive.
difference is instead of it being like a 6-month thing, I'll say something when you will get all hurt and sad, and I'll try to be gentle. And she'll tell me I hurt her, and then 20 minutes later she'll be like, "Good point. You're right. Like we need to work on this. Like I'm going to do that." Sometimes when he's very resistant. There's a reason I can teach this.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it does. It takes some time. But yeah, now like the turnaround now is like 20 to 60 minutes, and I also
if you hurt my feelings, yeah.
Yeah, but I always hurt your feelings when I tell you to do almost anything that's even slightly critical. It pretty much always hurts your feelings.
Of me, yeah, it hurts my feelings.
Yeah, and sometimes you have to be critical.
Because what you say, what you think about me matters. Like it.
I know, but for
like
guys, I'm not thinking anything about you. I'm just like, that
was
a fight we had a million times in the early parts of our marriage. It was like, no, Whitney, I'm not saying this about you. I'm saying it about the action. And I'm like, I want you to change this action. She's like, oh, so you don't love me for who I am. I'm like, no, because in the male brain, there's a very big difference between the things you do and who you are.
Well, I understand that difference very well now.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
But for a long time, no, it was, but also, you know, there's very few opinions. I don't even know if there's any real, I mean, you know, I don't want the whole world to like hate me for no reason or something. That would suck. But, you know, but aside from that, there aren't many opinions I care about, truly. Like I'm very public. I share all the things, you know, like on my Instagram and my life that are even questionable for some people might find questionable. Like my you know, GLP-1 use and all that kind of stuff. People tend to judge that, but I'm very, very open about all that stuff. The only person's opinion I really, really care about is yours. So you can hurt my feelings, you know? Yeah. So. Yeah.
Well, you're the best.
Well, thank you.
You are. You're the best.
See, next time you criticize me, I'm going to say, how could you say I'm the best and criticize?
I know. I'm setting myself up for failure, but I'm used to it. It's okay. What do you do when a fearful avoidant discards you after being overwhelmed and then blocks you after trying to communicate, but she shuts down? Oh, yeah. I mean, that's a rough situation. So probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the guys that we work with have avoidant wives.
Everybody, people's, those avoidant, anxious, whatever, that will change depending on the relationship and depending on where you're at in the relationship.
Yeah, it's not a permanent thing.
Avoidant with you now, and then she could be anxious with you 6 months from now. So it's not like she's unavoidant. She's just in the context of your relationship, there's something going on where she's become avoidant.
Or she was avoidant way before she met you because of experiences with her exes or with her dad. It usually goes back to dad on some level.
Yeah, but those women can also turn anxious in a different context.
Yeah, of course.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
But yeah, what you do with an avoidant. So avoidants associate safety with independence, right? So she learned at some point, my guess would be dad was not very emotionally supportive or maybe absent or angry or even abusive, or she had similar experiences with exes. And so she learned if things get tense or there's a crisis or a challenge or a trauma, this guy is not going to protect me. The only person that can keep me safe is me. So I have to get away in order to be safe. And so if you're an anxious, and that's so often the combination is an anxious attachment with an avoidant attachment, you need to be close to her to feel safe. So she's trying to get away to feel safe and you're chasing her. And so she feels that she has to run even further and then she has to block you. So the best thing you can do with an avoidant is recognize that it's not because they hate you or anything like that. She's feeling unsafe. The only way she knows how to deal with safety is by getting away, which again, probably happened way before you met her. And so if you try to interfere with her getting away, she's going to perceive that as you're not letting her get safe. And so she's going to try to get even further away from you. So thing to do is offer her affirmations. Hey, I sense you need some space. Go take the space. Don't worry, when you're ready to talk, I'll be here. That also shows you're not needy. It shows you're confident. And then verbally affirm to her a lot. Hey, it's okay if you need space, but like, I'm not your enemy. I'm not here to hurt you. If I said something that hurt your feelings, or if I, made you feel unsafe, like I want you to tell me so I can, work on that in the future, but I'm not trying to do that. I want you to be here. And if you need some space, I'm okay with that.
Also, just give her
She'll
the
come
space.
back way, way, way faster.
Just give her the space.
Yeah.
Don't talk to her at all for a period
Yeah,
of time.
that's what I'm saying. It's like if she needs space, let her have the space, because if you try to not let her have the space, that space is going to be way bigger and way longer. If you say, hey, take as much time as you need, take all the space you need, she's going to come back really quickly, right? And I've done this with so many clients. If you tell her like, no, you can't have space, she's going to fight for that space,
Or you're
and she's going to
asking
run
for
away.
time frames and all this kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Or like, okay, but when do you, like,
But
when?
when? But how long? But how
Best
much time
thing you can do, and again, it's totally fair to ask when, but just in terms of effectiveness,
Yeah.
best thing you do is be like, hey, totally get it. You let me know when you're ready to talk, and I'm here.
It's really hard to do.
And likely it's going to be a lot shorter. Like you can take what would have been, because I've had a lot of clients whose wives would run away for 3, 4, 5, 7 days, a month at a time. And when they started doing this, she would leave for an hour and come back, right? Because again, she's feeling unsafe. She has to get away to feel safe. But if you're like, oh, this guy doesn't mind if I get away, well, then I don't actually need to be far away from him to feel safe. I can feel safe near him because the option of space, that safety hatch, is still there when I need it. So lots of verbal affirmations, telling her that, she's safe, you're okay, and just let her have space. Let her take that space. If you don't, it comes across as needy and she'll want to have more space. She'll lose respect. So very hard to do as an anxious person. So you got to really work on where your anxiety is coming from, which is a whole different conversation. But yeah, give her space. Understand that it's her need for safety. It has much less to do with you. And if you do that, then you'll actually be able to communicate with her a lot more easily. You got married to be together for bed. So when one is down, the other one needs to pick them up. Sometimes along the way, one might forget about the other one. Having a tough time understanding what that means. Sorry, dude.
Married for better or worse?
Married for better or worse? Yeah, I mean, I think that's absolutely true. And I think, again, harsh reality, a woman has to feel emotionally safe in a relationship for her to really stick with that better or worse thing for long. Men will stick with it out of a sense of duty. If a woman is not getting what she needs emotionally, there is a countdown timer that starts on that. And if it goes long enough where she's not getting what she needs, she's not going to be there for you in worse. I've had lots of clients who go through like horrific bankruptcies and their wives take off. I've had lots of clients who go through horrific bankruptcies and their wives stick around. And the difference is one guy knows how to create emotional safety and he knows how to keep his head up and be confident even when things are going bad. The other person collapses emotionally and doesn't know how to create emotional safety, and so she leaves. So
It's not about the money.
it's not about the money. People always think, oh, women leave when once the bread train stops. It's like, no, she left because he lost his confidence and he started being, pouty or whiny or having a victim mindset or saying, I'm never going to recover from this. Women they have to get away from that.
Some of the closest times in our marriage, some of the moments in our marriage where you and I became like the closest together and built an even thicker foundation were during financial hardship. We were during times when finances weren't stable because we were, Matt was changing careers, or one time he was changing, like where he was working out of. He had to restart. He had to restart a couple of times, and
Three
times he had to restart. And I feel like watching you just like be such a go-getter and be so ambitious and so like work so hard, even when we didn't have much, I was more attracted to you in those moments than I was when you were making a lot more money, because in your past career you were really unhappy and in the job that you had, and so you were like drinking a lot more, and you weren't like a really strong masculine man, even though you were like making all this money. It was when you weren't and you had to like pick yourself up and kind of take charge, that it was like I was so much more drawn to you, because I felt so safe around you, because you had your SHIT together. You were like going for it. It was like so attractive. Even when we had like a fraction, we had to live in very different our circumstances were really different, and we had to cut back a lot. And yeah, but I felt really secure with you.
Yeah. I didn't really know what I was doing at the time, but I knew that I was just doing this for me, but luckily it had a positive impact on the relationship. I'm like, I'm not going to look at this as, which I could have, like, oh man, for me, this is so bad. Like, I've built all this and now I have to get rid of it and start again. And like, what if I can't rebuild it? What if we're going to be broke forever? Like, I didn't share any of that with you. And I felt that a lot, but I didn't share any of it with you. I was like, when I was talking with you, I was like, it's all good. It's going to be a while before we can rebuild, but like, I'm going to get there. I don't know if it's going to be 6 months or 2 years, but like, I'm just not going to stop until it happens. And I think that minimized the stress that you felt during that period. I carried a ton of stress. Like, I was stressed all the time, and I didn't know if I could do it. I knew that eventually it would happen, but I didn't know if it was going to be a year or 10 years. And I knew I wouldn't give up, but I gave you the gift of carrying as much of that stress as I could by myself, talking to my buddies, talking to my dad, talking to my brother, my close friends. Like, that's where you share that stress. With your wife, the answer, in my opinion, is always, I will figure it out. Don't worry.
Yeah.
And even when you had to work sometimes, right? Because there were times like when you was staying home with the kids, and we're like, hey, babe, you got to get a job.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
I was like, hey,
a
this is not going to happen forever. Like, this is a temporary thing. And like, I'm going to figure this out. And I'm sure it ended up being longer than I said it would be. But you could just see that I was like, there was no victim mentality with me at all. I was like, I will figure this out. And that confidence was enough for you to, maintain, attraction, respect, appreciation, connection, love, etc.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, there are some burdens you share as a couple, but I think there are certain burdens that I, as a wife and as a woman, I keep from you. Like, things that are going on maybe with the kids or whatever. Like, I will keep that, not like it's like a secret. Like, if you ask,
no, you do an amazing job of like, when I'm dealing with a lot with work or whatever.
Yeah,
I'll find out 3 months later that you dealt with some massive stress and like didn't even mention it to me.
Yeah, I'm shielding you from certain things because I know it's not going to be helpful to you, and like, and I appreciate that you do the same for me. Like, if there's a financial burden or something going on, like, I really don't want to know about it. Like, maybe you could tell me, hey, like, we're cutting back on we got to cut back on this month or whatever. It's like, okay, cool. I'll look at you and go, do I need to worry? And you're like, nope, you don't need to worry, but we're cutting back on. I'm like, okay, got it. Thank you.
And then you just don't worry.
And I don't worry. I do what you say. You're like, hey, we're cutting back here. We can't go out to eat whatever this month, whatever it is. Okay, no problem. But we're okay. Yep, cool. It's like, I don't care. Like, I don't want to have that added to my plate. If you can handle it, like, if you've got it, thank you. Right.
And when I do need to ask your help, it's not like, I can't do this. It's I need you. Like, why aren't you doing anything? Like, you're not doing it. I'm like, hey, this is what I need you to do because I can't right now. And this has to happen. Otherwise, this is going to happen. And you're always there when that happens. Yeah. And like, even if it's a big ask, like, hey, babe, you got to do basically everything with the kids indefinitely. Like, I can't even like, I'm going to, like, remember one time when we were starting this business, I was like, hey, I'm going to disappear for like 3 to 6 months. And I'm like, basically everything is on you. Like, that's what it's going to take for us to build this. Are you okay with that? And you were like, yes, I believe in you. And you did everything. Now, when I had time off, I like tried to make up for it. I was like, okay, Whitney's been with the kids for like 11 days straight. And I've like basically kissed them goodnight. And I was like, okay.
Longer than that. The months.
No, I'm just talking one period in that time.
Oh, yeah.
I'd be like, okay, I've got some time on Saturday. Hey, Whit, go do whatever you want to do. go to the bedroom and watch TV or go out with your friends or go do errands. Like, I'm going to take care of everything today.
Yeah, that was actually kind of a fun time. Like, I mean, it was cool, like watching Matt.
Looking back, it was.
Looking back, yeah. So at the time, it was maybe a little stressful, but watching Matt like build everything and create all the programs and everything, and filming everything, and then me and the kids, we were together, just the three of us, like all day, all night, every day. We did everything together because there was, when you're co-parenting, like when you're doing it together, like we are now, kind of like I'm sometimes with the kids, you're sometimes with the kids, but at that time it was all me, and it was like, yeah, me and the kids got to bond. I mean, I spent more time with them anyway, but that was like extra, and it was
that was like 95%.
Yeah, and it was kind of a neat time. But yeah, no, it's good.
Okay. Great question from a great man. How can I keep the right balance between being kind and creating tension without slipping into either doormat or coldness? You've probably heard my answer so many times.
In intimacy, keeping tension.
I know this wonderful gentleman, so I assume he wants Whitney's answer to that.
How can I keep the balance between being kind and creating tension without slipping into? Sorry, I can't read because my glasses are terrible. Into either doormat or coldness. Well, okay, so being kind is different than being a doormat, right? And you're asking, like, how do I not slip into it? Well, like being friendly and being supportive, but having clear boundaries, like something like, saying no to the things that are going to be crossing a boundary for you, like a personal boundary for you, whatever those are, whatever you've decided, those are your boundaries. Like that's that, an example might be, I don't know. What's an example of a boundary that you have?
I've got a lot of boundaries.
Okay, but let's just give one. I know he's got a lot of rules.
What's an example of a boundary? Like so I do nights and I stay up late. I go to bed like 4 or 5 hours after Whitney. So in the mornings, it's like, don't wake me up unless you have to. That'd be a boundary.
Right. Okay. So, but he's like, so like, for example, if she's like, you want to help her in the morning or something, but like, that mornings are off limits for you, then you would say something like, hey, babe, like, I see that you're really struggling here. I really want to help you. I really want to help you. I really want to be there for you. But like mornings are just absolute no for me. Like they're too important. I'm not sleeping. I can't do that. What else can I do for you? Or how else can I show up for you to help take the load off or help make things easier for you? Like there's a way of like being supportive and kind and having and like offering yourself to her without crossing whatever it is your boundary is. Not just like that's like a really dumb example, right? But it's just like Matt will often say to me, very, very rarely is he going to do something in the morning. Like it has to be like where there's literally no other option where he's going to do something in the morning. Like,
you're just fried.
But even then, like what you'll say is you'll be like, okay, how about like you go to bed extra early, like go to the bedroom at like 6 o'clock and like lock yourself in the room or whatever. Well, is that going to help you?
Yeah.
And then you're not like, I'm not walking all over you. I'm not treating, you're not bending over backwards. You're not crossing like whatever this boundary is for you, but you're still helping me. Mm-hmm. So that's a way of being, that was like an example of being nice and being supportive without, doing something that's like a hard no for you, whatever your hard no's are.
And I would add to that, and you've heard me say this before, but just for everybody else that's watching, a couple other things about like that boundary between being a doormat or just being kind. I'm a firm believer. Don't ever do anything you don't want to do. Ever.
But there's a caveat there.
Which is what?
Just because you don't feel like watching Bluey or something, for example, with your daughter.
I was going to get there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
there's a difference.
I don't, my daughter likes to watch Bluey. I obviously don't. Now, if she says, hey, you want to watch Bluey with me? I have to ask myself, okay, like clearly I'd rather watch Braveheart, but do I want to give my daughter the gift of my presence and be loving to her and make her feel special and do an activity with her? It's like, yes. Okay. Do I want to do that enough that it's worth watching Bluey? Okay. Yes, it is. Then I'll say yes. And if I am like, you know what, if I do this, I'm going to be rushed. I really don't have time for it. I don't have energy for it. I'm just not there right now. Then I'll say no. So it's not saying selfishly what you feel like in the moment, but what do you genuinely want? What's in alignment with your values and the vision that you have for yourself and for your family? And only if it's in alignment with that do you say yes. Because
is this going to lead to something that you do want?
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly, and that's why at a deeper level, even though I don't like Bluey, I do want to watch Bluey with my daughter because I want her to have a certain experience with her father. I want to have a certain closeness with her. I want to have time, the two of us, right? So yes, I do
So
want to
an
do that.
example might be, let's say you are more emotionally closed off as a person, but your wife needs to see more emotions from you. But it's like really difficult for you. And you might even say, this is like a boundary for me. I don't want to share my emotions. Okay. But what's more important to you here? Is it more important to you that your wife sees your emotional side? Because that's the only way she's going to feel safe enough to be intimate with you and to like invite you into that space with her? Or is like you just like, you know, being closed off and protecting yourself more important than what leads to intimacy? So it's like, it's not just about the thing. It's like, where is this leading? You have to think a little bit like long term here, or a little like few steps down the line, essentially.
Yeah, and back to the niceness, nice versus kind, because nice is kind of like pussy, people pleaser. Kind is like good person doing good things.
Nice
for
is
other
being
people.
polite, and it's like kind of
Fake,
BS.
yeah.
But like kindness is from your heart.
Speaking about us, like if I went and got Whitney flowers and a bottle of wine for her birthday because like I hoped it would make her happy, but I like really kind of didn't want to and whatever, and like she would feel the difference, and that would be being nice. But if I'm like, hey, I love my wife and I want to celebrate her, I would really feel good to make her feel good. I'm gonna choose to go get her a bottle of wine and flowers. Whitney's gonna feel the difference, right? So it's one is doing things because you're like, well, I need this person to like me and think I'm a good guy. So I'm going to do whatever I think I need to do to make her like me and think I'm a good guy. That's very different than saying, I want to make her happy. I want to do this thing for her, right? One is a gift from a place of need. So it's not actually a gift. It's kind of like a contract or an obligation you're giving to her. And the other one is a freely given gift. And women want to be cherished and chosen from a place of freedom, not from a place of need. So I guess one of the ways,
obligation.
not from a place of obligation, sure. Like, so I guess one of the ways to look at it is, am I doing this thing because I'm afraid of her disapproval if I don't? Or am I doing this thing because I really want to? And women can always sense the difference. And one more thing I'd add is, if you always say yes to everything no matter what, she's not going to look at you as valuable in the same way. But if she knows there are certain contexts in which you say no and that you're okay to put up those boundaries, even though she won't like the boundary in the moment and she might kind of, get a little bit prickly about it, she's going to respect you and appreciate what you do so much more because she knows you're willing to say no. And a guy who's willing to say no, that yes means way more. And a guy who's never willing to say no, his yes doesn't mean very much.
And you also asked about tension. Tension is, in the context that I think you're asking, is about being playful. So it's like teasing and like, maybe if you're, she wants something out of you that you aren't able to give or whatever, but you can like kind of make a joke about it and kind of, so where there's this kind of like this feeling in her of like kind of frustration, but you've also made her laugh. It's like, that's kind of how you play off that tension that like I often talk about.
Yeah, and tension is hard because you actually have to be good at, reading women to some degree. And tension basically means you're like riding that edge between really safe and too far. And like Whitney likes when I tease her. She likes when I make fun of her.
I do.
Right?
I like it.
And I can obviously take that too far where I hurt her feelings.
Yes.
Right? And I can also do none of it where there's none of that excitement. And so I have to find that edge. And sometimes I go a little bit too far and hurt her feelings. I'm like, then I feel all awkward and dumb and embarrassed.
Well, but yeah, you barely ever do that though. That's like,
yeah,
you're really good at it.
But, I had to fail at it a lot to kind of find where that line is for you. And now I'm usually pretty good at kind of riding that tension where I'm kind of just like pushing her and bugging her. And right up to the point where she's like, oh, like stop. And then I'll kind of like do it a little bit more. And it does like, women really love that. So
I love when you make fun of me. I especially love when like I'm like I'm like I've gotten upset about something that's like really ridiculous, and then Matt can like make fun of that,
snap you out of it.
And it's just like I don't know, it's just like it's great. It's a really
great, I basically
feel
like a stand-up comedian sometimes because not that I'm that funny. I'm just saying like I'll kind of keep going with it because Whitney will get upset about something that doesn't matter, and then I'll just like turn it into like a bit, and I'll just like talk to her about how like it's the end of the world and just like kind of illustrate how ridiculous it is, but in a way where like I'm not trying to demean you.
You're
I'm not
not
trying to take
mean
a
about
shot.
it. You're not like, yeah.
I'm trying to lift you out of your funk basically with humor.
I've seen men try and do what you do or what you're talking about, and it just looks like they're like being mean to their wife.
It's
Like,
really awkward.
It's really awkward. It's like, dude, like you're coming off as like a jerk. This isn't
Yeah.
even cute.
So like one thing for men who like don't know how to do this is body language, right? If she's getting tense or still or stiff, it's not going well. If she's like flowing and kind of moving in like a gentle, relaxed way, that's a good sign. And that goes for like, should I go for the kiss or not? It's like, if she's doing this, and kind of like sitting like this, probably not the right moment. But if she's kind of like, you're a little bit more flowy than me.
I'm working on this right now. I'm filming it right now. A 10-part intimacy course that will go into,
which I think should be called "How to Get Laid by Your Wife." But
right, I'm
Winnie has a different
not going to call it that. But I'm going to be coming out with that. That will be available for.
Yes, if you really want to learn how to do that, get that course.
Yeah, when it's ready, it should be hopefully
I think
next
we
week.
missed the question here. What if she files for separation and you have to leave to give space, so she still has the house with the kids while you are staying out there? Yeah, that's brutal, man. I've seen that a million times in our program. It's very, very common. I can't give you really specific advice without knowing more, but like we deal with this all the time. But what I would say is that's a terrible situation. Separation can be the best thing for your marriage. It was the best thing for our marriage. But that said,
but it was also terrible, and
it was horrific. And like, I never recommend it.
It wasn't like, woohoo, fun
And
time.
I fucking hate how
worst.
quickly therapists recommend separation. And we've had tons of clients whose marriages have been saved in our programs.
But often you do have to go down that path. It does seem for some people.
Yeah, but we've had lots of clients who's like, we've saved their marriage in the program. Everything went amazing. And before they joined the program, they were told by their therapist they definitely have to get separated. They should definitely do a trial separation. It's a bad idea. So best thing you can do if you are separated, don't be pouty and whiny about it. Just show her that, hey, I'm doing great. Life is great. Like, this is really hard. I'm struggling, but I'm going to be okay. I'm not sitting here, wasting my time away. Like, I'm making the best of having this extra time to myself. If she senses that you're like barely hanging on and you're super needy, she's going to want more and more distance from you. If she senses that like, hey, why is like, he's like not living with us, but like, he looks like he's having fun and he's doing well. That's going to create curiosity. It's going to create good tension. She's going to want to resolve that tension by moving closer to you. So don't be needy. Great line we tell our clients is, hey, if you need space, I trust your intuition. It's not what I want. I don't want the space, but I trust your intuition. Then she goes, oh, I don't have to fight this guy to get space from him. He's actually on my team. Well, that means I maybe need less space from him. Maybe I can get closer to him. Maybe instead of having like no contact, we can start doing dinners together as a family. And then that goes well, and it's low pressure, but I'm feeling good when I'm around him. Well, maybe we can start doing sleepovers. And we've seen that happen tons and tons of times. So make the best of it. Let her see that you're doing well, even though you're in pain. You don't have to pretend you're not in pain, because that's a lie. Never lie. But just be like, hey, this sucks and I hate it, but I'm like doing fine. I'm like working out more. I'm hanging out with my buddies. And then she'll go, oh, well, maybe I don't need to have this giant wall between us to keep him away from me. Maybe he respects my need for space and I can let him get closer to me. So again, have to know more specifics to give you like a more precise answer, but that would be what I'd say to that. I think we probably better jet after this question. So last question. Sorry guys, I'm sure there's more we didn't get to, but we'll have to get to them next time.
We're gonna do this every Sunday for
every Sunday evening we're gonna do this.
No matter where we are, we're gonna do it every Sunday. So we'll hopefully get lots of
so either whenever we can or no matter what, wherever we are. One of those two things. What do you do when in relationships one person pushes another person's boundaries again and again and again? If somebody is, again, I don't know you at all, so I could be completely wrong. But generally speaking, if somebody's breaking your boundary over and over and over again, you've got some work to do on setting boundaries. I learned this, so I feel like I can say this without being a dick because I was on the other side of it for a very long time. I learned that the reason nobody respected my boundaries was me, not them. And when I shifted who I was, when I worked on my own sources of insecurity, when I became confident, when I became a sovereign man, I was able to set boundaries in a way where people understood not to cross them. It's not like Woody doesn't cross my boundaries sometimes, but there are, I
I think I pushed your buttons more than like cross your boundary.
Yeah, that's probably true because you don't really like if you know it's a boundary, you really don't. But
I don't think so anyway.
one of the things you can do and this is true in marriage, with children, with coworkers, with neighbors, with strangers, with the barista at Starbucks, there have to be consequences when somebody crosses your boundaries. And you have to be very wise with those consequences, because if you say to your wife, hey, the next time you disrespect me in front of our friends, I'm kicking you out of the house, nothing in your life is going to get better, and she's not going to respect your boundaries, and she's going to end up leaving you. Right? So you have to find an appropriate boundary, right? So it's like, hey, the next time you disrespect me socially, which you do in spite of me telling you not to 100 times, I'm not going to socialize with you for a few weeks with our friends. Right? And that's actually the easy part. The easy part is setting the boundary. The hard part is reinforcing the boundary, right? Same with kids, right? Kids say, I say, no more popsicles. And if you do, you're going to lose your iPad for a week. And then they take a popsicle, and then I've got to keep them off their iPads for a week. And it's going to be way easier just to give them their iPads back and tell them not to do it again. But then they learn, oh, the rules of this kingdom are, the rules don't stick. They're not real. So although I'm saying the rules is no popsicles, the actual rules are you can have popsicles if you're willing to hear a 45-second lecture from dad and not have your iPad for 20 minutes. That's what the actual rules are. So part of the worst part of a boundary is actually following through on it. And that's why you want to be really careful with your consequences. Because if I told my kids, hey, if you take a popsicle, you're going to lose your iPad for a year, I'm going to throw your iPad in the garbage. It's like, well, I'm not going to do that. Right? So what's a reasonable consequence? And then if it's not working, you just escalate the consequences. And it's very, very hard to do, especially in the beginning. And I can speak to this with authority because I used to be very bad at setting boundaries. I had tons of anxiety around them. Be bad at it until you get good at it. And when sometimes you got to go back to your kids or your wife and be like, hey, I said you're not going to get your iPad for a year and I'm going to throw it in the garbage. I was speaking from a place of not having emotional control. I was riled up. That was my mistake. I'm actually going to take your iPad away for the rest of the day.
Making me wonder, I feel like I'm a person who has, internally, a lot of boundaries, but I don't know what, you never cross boundaries.
Yeah, but you're also Whitney is a person and she looks very sweet. And she is very sweet, but you've got a very strong don't fuck with me energy when you want to. And so you've never really been a person that had an issue with boundaries. You're very natural at setting boundaries.
But wonder how? Because how can someone be natural at setting a boundary? I mean, I know what you're saying, but I know exactly what you're referring to.
You just stick with it. If you say that this is a boundary, and you don't really put it that way, but if you're hey, I'm going to go do this thing, you just go do it, even if there's a commotion, right? Or if you say hey, I'm not going to accept this behavior, you just won't accept it.
Right. You're really good. You never really cross boundaries. I'm trying to think about that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're really good at that. Because some of us are boundary crossers. We don't
by nature.
We're just pushing buttons and
yeah, you are a boundary crosser by nature. Both of us are.
Oh, we both are.
Both of us are very rebellious by in our nature.
Right.
And that's why learning to set boundaries with you was there's a reason I got good at it. I had to have a black belt to figure out how to set boundaries with you. Because you would just completely, it was very emasculating because I set a boundary and then Whitney wouldn't just cross the boundary. She would act like she had zero awareness there was even a boundary. Zero awareness. I'd be I had this really serious discussion with you, and then you don't even seem to remember that it ever happened, and you seem confused that I'm upset. So I had to get really firm and really stick with it. And I learned that I was okay, setting a boundary isn't, whatever. Whitney, I don't want you wearing my shoes anymore. What setting a boundary actually is Whitney, I don't want you wearing my shoes. And then tomorrow, hold on. And then tomorrow when you wear my shoes, telling you again, hey, I told you not to wear my shoes, take them off. And then arguing with you for 20 minutes until you took them off. And then again the next day, and then the next day. And then all of a sudden you didn't do it for a week, but then it came back a week later and I had to enforce it again. Then you stopped for a month and then again. And then after a year of that, it was 6 months in between when you would wear my shoes, and then it stopped being an issue. So setting a boundary is actually the follow through and it's like putting your kids to bed. You can tell them to go to bed at 7, but you have to check on them every day for a month until they do it on their own.
What I'm getting at, I didn't realize what I was getting at initially, because I was just going through, I was basically thinking out loud, you're very respectful. You're always consciously
I'm very respectful
of everything, right? And
because they matter to me a lot.
boundaries.
Boundaries matter to me a lot.
To
So
you
if you have
so
a boundary
much,
that I think is reasonable, I'm going to
You're
internalize it as
really-
my own boundary.
Yeah, you're really, really good at that. Yeah, because you do. You have a lot of rules. You got a lot of rules. You have a lot of rules.
I'm a particular
a very
person.
particular person. But I think part of why
I annoy myself
But I
sometimes.
think part of why, in my defense, why I wasn't so good at always addressing your boundaries, maybe is because there were so many of them. It took me a long time to learn them all.
No.
No,
Maybe that's part of it. But no.
Is that
You just didn't
gaslighting?
give a shit.
Is that
You
am I
didn't give a shit.
gaslighting right now? Is that what that definition is? I'm like, well,
No,
maybe
I don't
it's
think that's
because it's
gaslighting.
your fault.
No.
I wasn't doing the thing.
No.
I don't know. No, yeah, maybe. I just no, yeah. But I think
Okay.
I'm really good now.
You're amazing now.
But you're. This is another thing. This again goes back to like that leadership where you kind of set.
You know what it
things
is?
up and you
Okay,
sort of, you taught me how
here's
to be
another
this
way. We can wrap on this.
Yeah.
A boundary is basically a battle of wills. And you are like an extremely high-willed person, strong-willed person, like extremely. And so
Yes. So
I
are
had
you.
to learn to match that. And so again, using that, ridiculous example of the shoes, it's like I knew when I set a boundary, it's not just one conversation, it's conversation and it's calling it out next time, and being willing to deal with the tension, the negative tension, being willing to deal with the fight, being willing to deal with the disconnection and Whitney being unhappy with me. And if I could make it through all of that repeatedly, eventually she'd be like, hey, just look what shoes I'm wearing. I'm not wearing your shoes. And
I'm like a spoiled teenage girl.
you're a
It's like,
smart, yeah,
I want to
absolutely.
get what I want.
Yeah, you're like, I'm not wearing your shoes. And I'd be like, thank you. And then after you
God.
do that 5 times, then you just stop wearing my shoes, wear your own shoes, and it never comes up
Well, how
again.
nice is it that I'm not like that anymore?
Took a lot of work.
Yeah, but look at you. Look
It was-
what
it
you
was
accomplished.
training.
Look what he achieved.
Yeah, it was all worth it a million times over. Yeah. All right, guys, we'll end it there. If you like this and you want more of this, we do have a podcast on my YouTube channel. So you can search Matt Enns, the Sovereign Man on YouTube. Our first episode of the two of us is up, and we're going to have a whole lot more. We're going to be doing one a week indefinitely. Tons of questions we didn't get to, so apologies. We just don't have time. But next time we're on here, we'd love to hear your questions. So check out the YouTube channel if you want to see us answering more questions. And yeah, thanks for being here, guys. It's awesome. Love you all. Bye-bye.